sacred activities in our life, what actually happened was I was dreaming. I was having a dream, and I was in a bazaar in India, and they had these beautiful, intricate woven bracelets that just sparkled in the light and had all this meaning and were very, very magical, very enchanted. And I had a dream about that, and I woke up going, I'm going to make these. I'm going to make. What I help people do is tap into the most sacred aspects of themselves. And for some people, that will be a very developed process. They will have a lot of ideas about what that looks like, and I'll listen to them and integrate that into a piece. For some people, it's just an energetic or intuitive hit. It's just one image that they'll say, oh, this holds a lot of meaning for me. And I'll start there and intuitively kind of connect the dots in the process. A lot of what's happened as sacred bracelets has become more popular is I have started to see more clearly the gift that I'm giving to people, because people have helped me to see what they see. I try to honor who the person is when they show up and what their needs for the design are. Some people will really want to tell you their favorite colors, colors that are inspiring them, scenes that have inspired them, places that have inspired them, stones that they love, animal totems sometimes that they connect with, or symbols that they connect with. And often what I'll do is use some of those inspirations that they give me to kind of create the backbone of their piece. And then I'll often find myself just kind of intuiting where they're headed or what they still need. And so sometimes there'll be little dips or changes in the piece. The other thing that happens is some folks want stuff that's very symmetrical, and then that sort of piece I'll literally count each bead to make sure that it's based on numerology, like numbers that are particularly important to them and sacred to them. And then some people will want to shift the energy, and so I'll make something that's very spontaneous and very organic. The sacred sites is really about taking those images that were entrained in a place where we were so inspired by a scene of beauty that it inspired us to a place of greater potential in ourselves. And then what I do is I capture that place or that scene for someone so that they can take it into their more mundane life and work with it energetically and be reminded of the sacred work. I had a client who wanted a piece that was designed after a picture. She'd gone on a trip to St. Martin, and she had a picture. And I made a bracelet for her, and then I thought, you know, this bracelet is the kind of bracelet that you would make if you weren't really walking around in the place. This is the sort of thing that you do if you were kind of trying to pull out the primary colors in the picture. I thought, what would it be like if I really felt like I was standing right there on that beach, right there on that dock? And the process just changed entirely. One of the things that I do is I work with these different colored wires. And some of the pieces have a lot of different colored wires, some of them only have one. I staggered the wires as I was designing the piece so that each set of wires came in just like a painting would. And so I staggered the wires when I had the stack of wires, and then I looked at the picture and I just started wiring it. And it felt like I was there in that space, like I was creating the picture. It was amazing. It was really a transcendent experience. I noticed by connecting with the person where they're really energized, around what images they're really inspired, basically where the energy is. And then I help them to channel that to the outer world by creating something of beauty. And aesthetically, there's a healing process that happens by moving my hands so fast, you know, like that I cease to kind of be this body or this self, and I become more of this process. So people talk a lot about that they can't believe that I'm moving really fast and that I'm just kind of immediately knowing what I'm supposed to pick up next. Is I'm able to let go of outcome in the process of designing the pieces and let the piece have its own integrity. People get kind of mesmerized. They get less focused on the content and more focused on the process. So they watch what I'm doing a lot. And they'll get real quiet sometimes. And they'll just kind of sit there and watch me. And that's interesting because I am a very kind of wordy person and use words sometimes in a really positive way, like we all do. You know, words are a tool and sometimes they're a hindrance, but there's something that happens outside of words that is just about being in your body and being in your sense of playfulness and beauty. And that's really what I want people to feel when they connect with sacred bracelets. I tap into what is most persistent in their soul. That's really what I think that's what art does in our culture. I think that's what beauty does. Together, it helps us notice what's really magical about our lives. It helps us open our heart. It helps us connect with our creativity. It helps us see that there's no real difference between you and me, that that's a schism and that's a polarity that is not very useful. It helps us connect with a more refined definition of our own creativity and our own sense of beauty. We kind of get out of the way of our ego or our external journey. It's very easy for us to figure out what we're meant to do because we're guided by divine sources. And those sources will call to us in a way that evokes a deeper feeling response in our body. And I think that on all of our journeys, the job is to kind of get out of our own way and to kind of honor the process and know that whatever we create will be good enough because it's divine, it's divinely inspired, and I hope that my work helps people connect with that expression in themselves. That's why I do it. By the time I'm done with the piece, it's told a story.